Great googly moogly. We have got a great stream here for you guys tonight. I am fired up for this one. Happy Wednesday. Let's go. Let's go. It is time to talk some football. You know, we've had some non-football streams and some football adjacent streams recently, but I'm excited today because we've got a stream where it is strictly ball talk. You guys see the title. You guys see the apparently Ryan Trahan inspired thumbnail, something like that. I don't know. I'm on status apparently. Don't worry about it. But as you guys might have seen all across the internet, social media, and all that stuff, ESPN has been doing their top 10 positional rankings for the past week or so, right? They've been surveying, I think it was like 80 random anonymous NFL executives, GMs, scouts, stuff like that. They all sent in their top 10s for different positions. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be reacting to that. I have not looked at any of them yet. I've seen glimpses here and there. You know, I've seen some people talking about like, oh, how can you have so-and-so ranked here and there and all that stuff, right? But I don't know. I'm just such a sucker for this type of stuff. I love these top 10 conversations. And to add a little extra wrinkle to it, I took the liberty of going and making my own top 10s for all these different positions that we are going to be looking at, right? So there's like one single page that has the link to all the different rankings on ESPN. I haven't looked at the rankings yet, but I know what positions we're going to be ranking here. So I made my own on a Google Doc that we'll see in a sec. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but we're going to have some fun with that. But as always, you guys know the drill. If you're in here, feel free to say hello and chat. Looks like we got a great group in here already. We've got Caden, Jack, Pear Champ, Dog by Nature, and Gabe. Let's go. Welcome to the stream, guys. You guys fired up for some top 10 talks? Let's go. And we got a super chat from Gabe as well. Let's go. Appreciate it. $4.99 from Gabe asking about the 76 jerseys. I'm assuming you mean the Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys. You know, we hit that a tiny bit on... Was it last week? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it was last week. We hit the Tampa Bay Buccaneers road creamsicles just a tiny bit. But you know what? For a $4.99 super chat, we'll talk about it again here. Man, what a clean look. I'm typing it in right now. I mean, the orange creamsicles are already nice enough. I don't know, man. I think I might like the white even more. There we go. Yep, iconic 1976 uniform. They're blocking the photo because I've got an ad blocker on. Here we go. We're going to switch over real quick. Oh, that's a little sneak preview. You're not supposed to see that yet. Hold on. Got to do that. But my goodness, man. Yeah, these are sweet. I really think that more teams need to start having home and away throwbacks, you know? Man, we got to get more colorways going, but just gorgeous uniforms, man. Really good job on the photo shoot, too. Look at the Leroy Selman chilling in the background, the old pennant. Yeah, man, these are sweet. You know, I've got an orange Cody Mauk creamsicle. I don't know. I might need to scoop up a white creamsicle at some point too. This is just such a nice look. But thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Let's go. We also got Henry in here too. Let's go. Welcome to the stream, Henry. Good to have you back in here. I'm doing well, man. I've got a little extra pep in my step right now. I am so excited to take a look at these top 10s here. Take a look at the ones that I've put together. I don't know. There's just something about putting together a top 10 list, right? Sometimes I do it while I'm bored. I already had a pretty good head start on a lot of my top 10 lists just from like, I don't know, sitting around like, I don't know, just like I've got 30 minutes. Oh, okay, who are the 10 best tackles in the NFL, right? But I took like an extra 30 minutes today to make mine, and we're going to compare them to ESPN's survey of all these different executives and anonymous managers and all that. But I got to catch up with chat here. I'm not going to lie. I don't know who Ryan Trahan is, to be honest with you. I might have to Google that too. Again, sometimes I like to think that I'm in touch with stuff. Okay, he's a YouTuber. He visited 50 states in 50 days for some vlog sort of thing. Ryan, I might not even be saying his name right. He's a vlogger. Holy smokes. 21 million subs. Okay, I might have seen this guy before. He's got like the Gen Z broccoli cut. Oh, he went to North Dakota. Interesting. So he's like a traveling vlog type of guy. She kind of looks like the person. She kind of looks like Belly from The Summer I Turned Pretty. Of Christina's watching, she'll appreciate that. I don't know who that is, though, but she kind of looks like Lola Tongue. Lola Tongue mentioned on Dr. Pigskin. Anyways, I had no idea this guy existed, but I could see how there's maybe slight inspiration from my thumbnails. But hey, if my thumbnails kind of look like a guy that's got 21 million subs, I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment. All right, let's switch back here. We're all over the place. It's been a nice, productive day, but it's also kind of been a relaxing day for me. I've gotten a little bit of work done, got some laundry done, but also just chilled for a little bit. I just like laid in bed for like an hour. It was nice. You know, I got to enjoy my time off while I can. Time off. I did hit the great googly moogly. Pear Champ is in here. How's it going, Pear Champ? Good to have you in here. You excited for some top 10 talk today? Let's go. Dog by nature is taking a dookie at work. Hey, yo. I appreciate, though. You're always tuning into these streams where you're at work, right? You know what? You got to get something to get you through the day. So I appreciate that that's me. Brown's going 17-0. Oh, boy. Okay, wholesome travel YouTuber, travel videos and positivity core. I can get down with that. And his wife has a ton of Lamar Jackson edits. Okay. Browns suck. Yeah, the new uniforms are all right. I respect the effort with the new uniforms. I was saying a little bit earlier, I was talking with Caden, the Fargo guys, Parker, Jack. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Browns Color Rush uniforms that they wore a few years ago, but just, I don't know. I don't like the shade of brown quite as much. But, and I just wish there was like a pop of white or something to just add a little more contrast. But he was the pioneer of that thumbnail. Well, there you go, man. I gotta get locked in on like the history of YouTube thumbnails. I actually watched a video. It was like top 10 most impactful YouTube thumbnails of all time, like a month or two ago. I don't even remember what the list was, but I was like, I can't believe that I'm tuning into this. But all right, here we go. Let's just jump into this. It's time for some top 10s. We're going to switch our screen back over. You might have got a sneak preview. Silly little setup today. And you might notice, if you've really been locked in on this channel, that my face cam is actually on the other side today. And I did that just so that everything would be a little bit easier to look at. But it is almost football time. As Henry is saying, the Hall of Fame game is next week. And I think ESPN has done this for a few years now, but we've got a nice little collection of top 10s. We've got top 10 running backs, top 10 defensive tackles, top 10 edge rushers, top 10 safeties, top 10 tight ends, top 10 interior offensive linemen, top 10 tackles, quarterbacks, off-ball linebackers, wide receivers, and corners. Whew. And we're going to try and get through all these today. I have no idea how this is going to go, right? I haven't taken a look at any of these yet. I do have mine that we're going to pull up here in a sec. We're just going to pull things to the side so we can get a little side by side. But what I'm thinking, what we're going to do is I'm going to hit my top 10 for each position first. I'm going to try and maybe predict what could be different from my list and ESPN's lists. If you guys want to play along, put your own top 10s in here in Discord, then by all means, go for it. I love this sort of, dialogue. I love hearing other people's opinions, maybe who am I lower on? Maybe who am I higher on, right? I like hearing other people's insights too. Maybe I'm the low man on, well, we'll get to a few players that I might be the low man on, but I don't know. I just love getting takes off like this. This is why I do this, But we are going to pull this up side by side now, and we'll try and catch up with chat. Again, my brain kind of all over the place today, but we'll take it. We're here. So yeah, I have this wonderful looking Google Doc, which is not the prettiest thing in the world, but I've typed out all my top 10s here. Whatever. It's just something to look at. We'll get to the running backs here in a sec. We don't want to spoil too much, but we'll pull this up at least, and then we're going to get to mine. But there's been a few other uniforms that have come out, right? The Saints had their new alternates come out. The gold, it's all right. I don't love that shade of gold, to be honest. Like, I prefer usually a little bit of a darker gold, a little bit more pronounced. It looks a little faded, but it's at least a better utilization of their black helmets than the white Color Rush. I feel like that was a pretty rough look. I feel like they're at least getting there. But the Saints could be one team that could maybe stand to get a slight rebrand or just tweak their uniforms a little bit. But yeah, I know everyone's dropping their new uniforms right now. Gabe hitting me with some lore right here. The jerseys aren't new, just a new helmet, I suppose, because technically, or is it the Browns that maybe it's the Browns that you're referring to? Because I was thinking, like, I know the Bucks in the past, I think they might have worn their white throwbacks back in like the Josh Freeman days, but maybe not. Maybe not. We've already got some dialogue for the running backs. All right, let's hit my top 10 running backs first, and then we'll pull this off to the side and go side by side. I'm not going to spend too much time on these unless there's certain guys that people want to talk about. Like, okay, Saquon Barkley at 1. Pretty self-explanatory. Don't really need to get into that too much. I'm just going to rip it right here, read through all these. Saquon Barkley 1, Derrick Henry 2, Bijan Robinson 3, Jahmyr Gibbs 4, Jonathan Taylor 5, Josh Jacobs 6, Ashton Jeanty 7, which I wonder if that's what people are talking about in chat right now. I debated on that one a little bit. That one was a little bit tricky. I ended up sliding him in at 7, though. Bucky Irving at 8, James Cook at 9, and James Conner at 10. So I think maybe a few things that I'll be interested to see how this ESPN list shakes out on. Where's Ashton Jeanty going to fall in? I feel like there might be a good amount of execs that don't put Ashton Jeanty in their top 10 at all, and I understand it, right? He hasn't played a single snap of NFL football yet. I feel like he's got to be in the top 10, though, right? Again, like maybe he's a bust. I know this is all projection, but I would just be so surprised if we didn't look back a year from now and think, yeah, he's at least as good as like James Conner, right? Not that James Conner's bad. Like, James Conner's a great player, right? I love James Conner. I loved putting him here at 10. I loved showing him some love. But, like, wouldn't you be a little surprised if he wasn't, like, at least as good as, like, James Cook, James Conner? Bucky Irving might go a little bit higher. I won't quite, like, put him in that same tier just because, you know, it's year 2 for Bucky. He might be seeing even more of the ball this year. But I do have Jeanty at 7 right now. I do have Jeanty at 7. Jack is saying, I just can't get behind putting someone with no NFL reps in the top 10. There you go with Jeanty. I mean, I understand it, you know. I think the reason why I feel all right about it is because I more or less did the same thing with Bijan his rookie year. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, he's going to be a top 10 back. And I don't know. I feel like after his rookie year, his stats weren't like gaudy, but I thought he played pretty well. And it's like, okay, this is probably like running back 7 or 8, you know. I might be the high man on Bijan. I don't think that Bijan is going to come in at 3 for ESPN's list, but I stand by that take. I really do. Gibbs is unbelievable. I think Bijan's just a little bit better. Henry is saying that Kenneth Walker is his underrated back for the year. Have him as a top 5 or 6 back. I don't hate that, honestly, right? Bring in some new offensive linemen for Seattle. Love the Gray Zabel pick in the draft. And as I've been hammering all offseason, right? You say it with me. Clint Kubiak wide zone scheme. They are going to be hammering those outside zone runs day in, day out. They are honestly cooking in New Orleans with it last year with a fairly talented offensive line and a fairly talented backfield, right? But man, I would love to see Kenny Walker out in space. He would not be a bad pick if you want to slide him in at 9 or 10, honestly. Like, maybe you could put him in over the Jameses. I would take Bucky over K9, I think. They're pretty similar players. But that Bucs offensive line does help a lot. That you could slide in K9, I think, in like the back half of the top 10. I wouldn't hate that. And I could see him having a good year this year. So no, Kyron Williams is also wild. Isn't that funny, right? Because I'm Mr. Rams. I like Kyron. Like, I have nothing against Kyron. He's just not a super explosive back. And, you know, I have James Conner in here. It's not like he's an explosive back either. I just think Conner's just a little bit better of a runner. And I just trust him as a receiver a little bit more than Kyron. Maybe this is just like confirmation bias, but I feel like every time I've watched the Rams, Kyron has had a bad drop or just like, I don't know, a bad play in the passing game. And it's like, he is a good back. Like, I might have Kyron like as an honorable mention at like 12 or 13, but I think he's okay. I think he's a slight McVay merchant, to be honest, but then again, who wouldn't be a slight McVay merchant? We got Ron in here. Welcome, Ron. Good to have you back in here. Saying, sad that CMC can't make the top 10 running back list. He's another interesting one to see where he's going to fall in on ESPN's, right? I also, did I screw this up a little bit? No, we're good. Oh, I kind of did. I had it all like perfectly set up and everything. Here we go. We're just going to do this. CMC was still pretty good when he played last year, but he looked like noticeably slower in my opinion. And I just think like Achilles tendonitis is such a scary thing to deal with, and he's getting a little bit older. Like he is like the same age as like Dalvin Cook and Zeke. You know, these guys that we see is just completely washed. I wouldn't rule out like Christian McCaffrey having a good year, and it's like, okay, yeah, CMC is back. He's like running back 5. I'm going to be real honest, dude. I'd be shocked if he cracked like back into the top 3 again. I know that's like really harsh, and it's just like a tough way to look at it. I would love to be wrong about him because he's such a joy to watch, but I really do think we might start to see him be a little bit more limited this year, just with all those injuries, and he's just getting a little bit older. But here we go. Let's dive into it. Saquon at 1. Someone voted him at 2. I guess someone had to have had Derrick Henry over him, right? Last year he was 4. Got almost every single first place vote. Someone just had to have voted for Derrick Henry. I don't know. Maybe they work for the Ravens or something. But okay, that checks out. Offensive player of the year right there. No issue with that. Saquon at 1. Got to be Derrick Henry at 2. Yep. Lowest ranking 6. Lowest ranking 6. Okay. I mean, how could you even justify that? I'm sorry, man. Like, it's great. Like, this is like an NFL employee, like someone who like works with an NFL team is like, yeah, man, there's 5 running backs I'd take over Derrick Henry. I don't know. Like I'm all for like differences and like rankings and stuff, but I feel like we're going to see some egregious stuff in here, man. He went for almost 2,000 yards last year. Anyways, yeah, consensus number 2 checks out. And it looks like a lot of people in chat right now have Derrick Henry in that range as well. Let's see. So Pearchamp drop his in here first. Pearchamp's got Saquon, Henry, Gibbs, Bijan, Jacobs, Kyron, Taylor, Achane. Ooh, I kind of like the Achane shot a little bit. Honestly, low-key getting sold by the Dolphins a little bit. I actually stand with Devon Achane. Bucky Irving and then CMC. Henry's got Saquon, Bijan at 2. I don't hate it. I could see it. I am in on Bijan a ridiculous amount. Then we got Gibbs at 4, Taylor at 5. Wait, no, I'm reading this wrong. Hold on. Saquon 1, Bijan 2, Gibbs 3, Jonathan Taylor 4, CMC 5, K9 6, Bucky 7, Derrick Henry at 8. Ooh, sensing a fall off. Okay, I mean he is 31. That is understandable. But he's built like a tank, and with Lamar there, he won't have to have the craziest workload. He still charted pretty well with his miles per hour on like some of his top runs last year. It's so tough, right? It is tough. I almost feel like Derrick Henry is like the Tom Brady of running backs, just in the sense of longevity. And like, man, like I feel like we've been waiting for him to fall off for like 3 years now, and it just hasn't happened yet. I don't hate the idea of trying to get out there early, and it might be silly coming from me when I'm like, saying like I'm out on CMC early, but but I could see it. Even if like he falls off and he's at 9, it's like, oh no, he only went for 1,100 yards this year. And then Jacobs at 10. Oh, and Achane at 9. Nice. Gibbs at 9. Yeah, look at that. Jahmyr Gibbs is at 3. I was expecting that. Highest ranking 2, lowest ranking 9. I get it, right? I am not anti Jahmyr Gibbs in any way. He is a phenomenal player. I think that it's very close between him and Bijan. Like, you just really have to split hairs between these two guys, right? But that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing when we're trying to like order these guys. If I had to make the case for Bijan over Gibbs, I think Bijan is just a little bit more of a complete player. I think he's just a little bit more of a pure runner, a little bit more of a complete runner, a little bit better going between the tackles. Gibbs is obviously phenomenal out in the open field, but so is Bijan, right? I mean, Gibbs is probably like the toughest player to bring down in the open field in the league, but it's not like Bijan is that far behind. He has plenty of moves in his bag, right? We've seen him be a handful to bring down in the open field. I would say Bijan's just a little bit better of a receiver. I think he's got a little bit more complete of a route tree. He's very good in pass protection, which I really, really appreciate. And I do think he got sold pretty bad by the Falcons scheme last year. I mean, man, and I hate to like keep picking on this team because I've made an example out of them for like a year and a half now, but I'm going to do it again, right? For as much as I've harped on the Miami Dolphins for like, oh, they never run between the tackles. They always just run outside zone, outside zone, outside zone. That's all they do. And eventually it becomes predictable and stale. Well, I looked this up yesterday. I could not believe it, but it's true. And honestly, once I thought about the Falcons offense this past year, it's like, actually, yeah, this kind of makes sense. The Atlanta Falcons ran between the tackles on a fewer percentage of their running plays than the Dolphins did last year. The Falcons ran to the outside on a higher percentage of their run plays than the Dolphins did last year. I mean, it was unbelievable, man. If you go back to my Falcons-Bucks Thursday night stream, man, it was making me sick. It was literally just outside zone from pistol every single running play. And it was because of Kirk. And he just could not move, right? And even the year before when Arthur Smith was there, it's just all outside zone, outside zone, outside zone. It's like, man, I get it. You've got the lineman to run zone and you want to get Bijan out in space. But he was like better between the tackles in college. Like he was more of a downhill guy in college. So I'm really hoping with Penix in there now, maybe we can just mix up the running game a little bit more. I don't know, man. Shoot, if you put Bijan on the Lions, he would be putting up crazy 6 yards per carry numbers too. But yeah. Anyways, that's my Bijan over Gibbs take. Again, two incredible players. Both teams are completely vindicated for taking him as high as they did in the draft. Bijan is just my cup of tea, just a little bit more, but man, I mean, we're comparing like the Mona Lisa and the Starry Night here. Running back position is in good hands with these two. CMC at 5. Okay. Yeah. I was figuring, he would probably sneak in here. 5 surprises me. 5 surprises me a little bit. Also, tangent, I just thought of this now. It was Bijan someone had at 1. Interesting. Falcons employee probably. But CMC at 5. I mean, again, like if he's healthy and he comes back, sure. Like I'm not going to completely count it out. I'm just a little skeptical. We'll see. We'll see if he's 5 come the end of next season. Jacobs at 6. Valid. I had Jacobs at 6. Jonathan Taylor at 7 is a little surprising. I feel like he's been pretty underrated. He's another guy that's kind of struggled to stay healthy, but he was healthy last year. And I mean, you might be surprised like how many rushing yards he put up last season. Really, like his whole career, as long as he's been on the field, he's been a phenomenal runner. He was pretty good in 2023 too in some limited action, right? He was my offensive player of the year dark horse going into this season. He's just a very like he's like the Tim Duncan of running backs, man. He's just so fundamentally sound. Just, I don't know. He's not like the flashiest guy in the world. He's got some breakaway speed. He can make some big plays, but just he's so good at like a solid 8-yard run on 1st and 10 to set up 2nd and 2, man. He can go inside and outside. I love his game. He's a great player. Only 26 too. I think he could have another great year this year. Colts offensive line. We'll see. They've had some turnover, but Jack is saying this is going to be a 3-hour stream. I hope not, man. I was like, I have no idea how long this is going to take. It's already been like 25 minutes, and we're at number 8 on the running backs. But we're having some fun here, man. There's conversations to be had. Ron is saying, if you're over 30 as a running back, you might as well just make a reservation at the Glue Factory. I mean, it used to be 30, right? Now it's like closer to 28, I feel like. Again, you think about like Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, like all these guys, like they really started to hit the cliff more at like 28, 29, depending on how big of a workload they got. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot more teams take the 2-back approach, right? People might scratch their heads like, oh, why is Tyler Algier getting so many carries for the Falcons when you've got Bijan? Like, just give Bijan all the carries, And as much as I would love to see Bijan get like 400 carries in a season, like you want to keep him beyond his rookie contract. You want him to be a good player for more than just 5 years. So, yeah. Algier's yards per carry might not always look pretty, but sometimes you need someone to just ram their head into a cloud of dust for 3 yards. So, but yeah, running back, definitely like running back and cornerback. That's the position where like once you get old and you lose a step, good luck, Charlie. Oh boy, good luck. But Henry's saying that's a wild stat considering our offensive line isn't even that bad. Yeah, I mean, it's been a very specialized unit, right? You could tell that Arthur Smith was in the building for a few years. If you look at the offensive line, it's like, oh, these are all light, fast guys that can get out in space and outside zone, right? Yeah, Arthur Smith was the coach for 3 years. That makes sense. And Zach Robinson comes from the McVay tree, right? So he does it some too, but I would just like to see them mix it a little bit more in between the tackles. That has been something that's been killing me with the Falcons for a while, but I think that hopefully we'll fix that with Penix. The prediction stream, those are usually pretty long. Those are usually actually like 3 hours. Joe Mixon at 9. I suppose Joe Mixon honestly had a surprisingly good year last year. I was pretty down on him, to be honest. I thought he was kind of washed. I didn't love his final season in Cincinnati, but he was actually pretty solid for Houston last year. I can get down with Joe Mixon coming in like back end of the top 10. Again, you kind of hold your breath, especially with that offensive line there now. Like, we'll see how much longer he can do this, but I don't hate Joe Mixon at 9. And then Alvin Kamara at 10. Yeah, he was fun when everything was clicking for the Saints offense first few weeks, right? When they had Eric McCoy out there. Okay, that's not egregious. But so James Cook in there, Bucky Irving not in there. He was an honorable mention, and no James Conner. Man, I'm ready to believe what I see with Bucky, to be honest. I'm big on Bucky, man. Oh, have him in Dynasty. What a great life that is. Oh, baby. Aaron Jones gets an honorable mention. Low-key, he's not going to be the Vikings' leading rusher this year. That's what I'll say. Jordan Mason Hive, rise up, baby. I don't know. He'll be good. He's fine, but I wouldn't call him a top 10 back, to be honest. Achane, I don't hate that. Breece Hall and James Conner. We also got Kyron, David Montgomery, Brian Robinson, Chuba Hubbard, DeAndre Swift, and Kenneth Walker receiving votes. Henry with a good question. Who would I say is outside of my top 10 that could finish in there at the end of the season? Well, there's a couple names in here that caught my eye. One is Breece Hall. I actually just completely forgot that he existed. Honestly, I might even slide Breece Hall in at 9 over James Cook and James Conner. Great player. Just been sold on some truly awful teams. And I'm actually pretty high on the Jets offensive line this season. I kind of like what they're building in the trenches over in New York. He and Justin Fields could be a really nasty running game. They're going to be a tough team to play. And Jackie read my mind. I am such a caricature. I think I said that wrong. I am such a parody of myself. But yeah, Chuba Hubbard, man. I mean, you could sneak Chuba Hubbard in right now too, right? He had 1,200 yards this year. I do think Rico Dowdle might be seen a little bit more. Like he'll be splitting some time with Rico Dowdle. They brought him in, but Hubbard will still probably be the workhorse. But yeah, man, Chuba Hubbard, he could be good. Here's what I'll say: the Panthers, I think, should have a top 10 running game next year. I think if you look at some of the big rushing stats, like yards per carry, rushing yards, EPA per rush, rushing success rate, I think that the Panthers will be in the top 10 of at least 3 of those 4 stats. That's what I'll say. That's my Panthers running game take. And I don't hate Kenneth Walker sneaking his way into the top 10 either. But all right, one position down. On to the defensive tackles. All right, defensive tackles. I didn't make the order. I'm just doing the order that ESPN is doing this in. So I don't know. This is how they release things, I guess. But top 10 defensive tackles. And I should probably clarify. I haven't really said this. And I feel like it's assumed. I feel like people have a good understanding. My logic for these rankings is, okay, I am building a team from scratch to go into this season with just one season. We're not accounting for contracts or anything, right? As I always like to say, it's like you're at recess, you're a team captain, you're picking your team, right? If I'm building a team from scratch going into the 2025 season, here is the order of how I would draft this position, more or less, right? Who do I think are the 10 best guys at football for this position? So for defensive tackles, we've got Dexter Lawrence 1, Chris Jones 2, Cameron Hayward, Unk still got it, at 3, Quinnen Williams 4, Big Cat Leonard Williams at 5, Zach Allen at 6, Jalen Carter at 7, Aleem McNeil at 8, Jeffrey Simmons at 9, and as Gabe is saying in chat, Big Vita Vea at 10. 2 nose tackles in here. I guess you could argue 3 with Aleem McNeil, which makes me really happy. Showing some love to the really, really big guys, the guys that don't necessarily always get after the quarterback, although this guy is the exception and a big reason why he's number 1. But we got a fun mix here, right? We got some really old guys. I mean, Cam Hayward being at 3, well, being like, 36 years old, having low-key like the best season of his career last year. What a baller, man. The Steelers drafted Derek Harmon for a reason. I don't know. Cam will have one more year in him, I think. But Jack is saying, I guarantee Leonard Williams is going to be the only player on the top 10 for any of these lists. Wait. I guarantee Leonard Williams is going to be the only player on the top 10. Oh, so like he's the only true top 10er. I see what he'd moved Jalen Carter up a spot and thinks that Chris Jones is still number 1. I think he's got an interesting case. He had a quieter year as far as sacks go, but he was still super disruptive. I mean, anytime you watch the Chiefs, you could pretty easily point him out and be like, oh yeah, Chris Jones wrecked that play, He had like only 7 sacks this year or something like that. He had another great postseason run. I give Sexy Dexy just a slight edge because I just think it's so sick that a nose tackle like him is able to rush the quarterback the way he does. I mean, he was like leading the league in sacks at one point before he got hurt, right? For as much as everyone makes about like Aiden Hutchinson and his pace before he got hurt, Dexter Lawrence doing what he does as a nose tackle at like 360 pounds while also being dominant against the run. Like low key, if you really just want to throw out positional value, I might try and make a super nerdy, dorky argument that Dexter Lawrence is like the best player in the NFL. He is unbelievable, dude. And he opens up so much on the edge, right? Like if you look at like Kayvon Thibodeau's sack numbers, he gets like 8 sacks in a season. It's like, okay, he's not really winning that much. He just gets so many good looks because Dex is taking up 3 guys, right? I mean, man. Vikings played the Giants in week 1 last year. The only reason it was even somewhat of a game is because Dexter Lawrence, like about one play a drive, he would just completely wreck things. He'd be like, oh, well, all right, it's 2nd and 15 now. Cool. He is unbelievable. But the Leo Williams comment was talking about Seahawks players. Oh, the only Seahawks player on that. No, there's going to be some Seahawks in here. Don't worry. I can already think of one other Seahawk in my head, and there might be one other. There is another Seahawk in here. I can promise you that. And there's a few that I at least flirted with. But yeah, I stand with Dexter Lawrence being at number 1. But let's take a look and see what ESPN thinks. I'm gonna say Chris Jones will be at 1 for ESPN. I'll say Dexter Lawrence 2. I wonder if Aleem McNeil is going to be in there. He might. I don't think Zach Allen will be as high as 6. Leonard Williams might be a little bit underrated. And Jalen Carter might be pretty high. Oh, the ESPN list. I'm tripping, dude. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. We got there eventually. All right, let's see. Let's go. Dexter Lawrence is at 1 for ESPN. Bang. All right, that makes me happy. Yeah, that's awesome, man. He deserves it. Unbelievable player. I have been unreasonably high on this Giants defense all offseason. This man's at the center of it right here. Golly, this front is going to be so sick this year. You guys need to calm me down from the crazy Giants takes. If you remember the Mario Kart stream, the very final take I gave for that night. Maybe I'm flying a little too close to the sun with the Giants right now, but oh, baby, Lord have mercy. Yeah, let's go. Chris Jones at 2, valid. All right, 2 for 2 so far. Nice. Jalen Carter at 3. I get it, right? He had a great postseason. Not even just a great postseason. He really did have a good second year. He does rotate in and out just a little bit more than some of these other guys, which, Philly's had the luxury of doing just because their defensive line is so deep. And that's not me saying guys, he's secretly bad because he rotates in and out, right? He is one of the most disruptive defensive linemen in football. Right? I mean, we saw him take over the end of that Rams playoff game. We saw him just wreck shop in the Super Bowl. He is a fantastic player. I think 3 is just a tad high for right now. Jeffrey Simmons at 4. Wow. All right. The Titans getting some love. I was wondering if Jeffrey Simmons might come in as an honorable mention, just Titans tax and everything, but he is an established name. He's been one for a while, and yeah, he's still balling. Still a great player. Four's not crazy. Four's not crazy. Quinnen Williams at 5. Yep. There's Leonard Williams at 6. Okay, so we had Quinnen and Leonard back to back, but they were just a tick lower on the ESPN list. Nnamdi Madubuike, I low-key forgot about him. At 7, that's not bad. I mean, you could make a good argument that he sneaks into like the back half of the top 10. He definitely wasn't quite as productive this year as 2023, which like is to be expected, but still very good interior pass rusher. So I don't hate that. Not terrible. DeForest Buckner, dude, he was a tough cut, man. I really wanted to sneak him in there. I just couldn't find a spot for him. Yeah, still one of the best pass rushing tackles in the NFL. Vita Vea at 9, right? Definitely the well, I say worst pass rushers. I was like, I feel like he had a pretty good year rushing the passer. 7 sacks is ludicrous. 7 sacks is insane, dude. Oh my gosh. I mean, I put him in at 10. Low key, I thought he had like 4 or 5 this year, and I'd have been like, yeah, Vita Vea getting 4 sacks, like you feel great about that. 7 sacks for Vita Vea? Low key, I might need to bump him up a few spots. That's crazy. Yeah, he had 6.5 in 2022. He really has improved as a pass rusher, hasn't he? And even if he was still like 3, 2.5, 2, right? Even if he was still in this neighborhood, he is a one-man run defense, right? If you look at the Buccaneers' run defense in Vita Vea's career when he's been on the field, it's insane, you know? So I think like even run defense alone, you got to have him in your top 10. Dude, I'm not going to lie. I did not know he had that many sacks this past year. That's actually insane. I do remember this rep of him dropping back in coverage. That was awesome. Man. Just bringing the boom right there. That was so sick. It was on 3rd down, too. Yeah, that was one of the coolest plays of last season. Cam Hayward at 10 breaks my heart. I'm sorry, man. You have no idea how good Cameron Hayward is. Oh, my gosh. He was so good this past year, man. 8 sacks. Like, he's another guy that has really improved as a pass rusher, and he just takes up so much space. He draws so many double and triple teams. Great player. Future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I think he should be. Honorable. Oh, Zach Allen didn't make the list. Dude, he was like an all-pro last year. Oh, Derek Brown. Yeah, he was injured. Low-key, defensive tackles in a great spot right now in the NFL. There are a lot of great defensive tackles in the league right now. There are some tough cuts. Yeah, Kobe Turner was another tough cut. Zach Sealer had a great year. Christian Wilkins was banged up. If he's healthy, he could be good. He did suffer another injury, though, which is a little scary. Just a lot to recover from. Also receiving votes, Kenny Clark. I don't know about this point in his career. I don't know. Aleem McNeil, Ed Oliver, who's kind of turned it on a little bit. Deron Payne, Kalijah Cansey, and Osa Odigizua getting some votes. Interesting. Derek Brown, when healthy, is top 3. See, and believe me, it's a Panther, so like I have to love him, right? He is just a little bit more specialized as like a pure run stopper, which is sick, and the Panthers certainly need that. You look at how bad their run defense was without him last year. I mean, they had like a historically bad run defense last year. They missed this guy. He's not quite the pass rusher that some of these other guys are, right? Like, it would be really hard for me to put him over, like, Leonard Williams or even, like, Vita Vea, to be completely honest with you. As much as I love Derek Brown, like, Vita Vea is the same genre of player, but a little bit better at getting after the quarterback, you know? But I would have loved to sneak him in here, you know? Hey, Bobby Brown, Tershawn Wharton, don't sleep. Good defensive front for next season. Don't sleep, but... All right, defensive tackles. There we go. I feel like that was pretty good. I feel like we're doing all right so far. The one that I'm most interested to see in is the wide receivers, simply because I saw a tweet saying, wow, this is a really bad showing by the NFL execs. And I haven't looked at that list yet, so I'm actually really interested to see how that one shakes out. All right, let's do edge rushers next. Oh, this one's going to be fun too. I've got some edge rusher takes. Let's go to edge rushers next. Yo, we got Sebastian. Welcome, Sebastian. Good to have you back in here. Saying Aleem McNeil deserves his own category, as does every Lions player. Well, I tell you what, I'm doing some counting in my head right now. The Lions are going to be represented a lot. That's what I'll say. The Lions are going to be represented a lot. I know Jack was a little worried about maybe only one Seahawk making the cut. We've seen a few Lions make the cut already. I'm holding out hope, though, Jack. I'm holding out hope that ESPN will get at least one of these right here. There's one player I have in mind where it's like in a just world, ESPN's got him on the list. Ron is saying ESPN is mostly a cringe take factory these days. I hate watch Stephen A. Smith at this point. I get it. You know, I'm not really watching ESPN on TV like that anymore. I go on ESPN.com from time to time, and I really do like NFL Live. I think they do a great job, but I'm not out here like watching First Take or anything. I mean, that show just exists to clip farm at this point, you know, and sometimes it works, golly. Sometimes it works, and I see a Stephen A. clip, and I'm like, oh boy. But yeah, I'm not watching SportsCenter like that anymore, you know. And they cancel Around the Horn, which is such a shame. So it's changed a lot. That's what I'll say. It's changed a lot. But all right, let's go to edges. Top 10 edges. And this is like a super pretentious thing that I do. I always try and call them edges and not edge rushers, right? Because actually, they do more than just rush the quarterback. They need to set the edge in the run game too. So, top 10 edges. ESPN says edge rushers. So I guess Myles Garrett just doesn't do anything except rush the passer. Anyways, I'm being annoying. Top 10 edges. My list here, we've got up on the right in our nice fancy little Google Doc. And we're going to get to Hutch in a sec. I knew. I promise I'm not a Lions hater. I'm trying to be fair here. Look at that. He's above Jonathan Grenard. Myles Garrett at 1. At 2, Micah Parsons, 3, Nick Bosa, 4, Trey Hendrickson, 5, Danielle Hunter, 6, Will Anderson, 7, Aiden Hutchinson, 8, Jonathan Grenard, 9, TJ Watt, and 10, Jared Verse. I know Aiden Hutchinson had ridiculous production last year. I know he did. And again, I might sound like a hater and whatever. I get that. And like rightfully, like y'all... Everyone has the right to disagree with me, right? My honest to goodness Aiden Hutchinson take, this is going to sound so like dumb and nitpicky. Because again, like I have him at 7. You know, 7 is very good. I think he's a great player. He's a great pass rusher, and he's turned into a much better player than I thought he would. Real talk, if we're going to be completely honest here, I'm going to pull up his Pro Football Reference page, right? Because Hutchinson had such insane production, you know, before getting hurt this past season, right? Through 5 games, just, you know, crazy pressures, crazy sack totals. Real talk, if I'm going to be completely honest, he was kind of stat padding against plumbers and mailmen, just a little bit, right? I mean, let's take a look at some of these tackles that he faced first few weeks, right? This Sunday night game against the Rams, dude, LA had like their entire offensive line get injured in that game. I was looking at this last night because I was preparing myself for this. I was preparing myself to defend myself for this, right? But this is something I've been thinking about for a while. And again, like maybe I'm just a dirty Vikings hater, but let's see if I can find it. Where'd the snap counts go? I'm trying to find the name of the tackle he went against. Here we go. Snap counts, right? Warren McClendon was one of the tackles. He was already an injury replacement. And then... where'd their other tackle go? Yeah, Joe Noteboom got hurt in the middle of the game, and they had A.J. Arcuri come in at tackle. And this guy, A.J. Arcuri, was going up against Aiden Hutchinson. Arcuri played 51 snaps in this Week 1 game against the Lions, and that was it. The Rams were like, all right, he's not seeing the field the rest of the season, right? And again, like, I'm not saying like that's the only reason Aiden Hutchinson was good. Of course not, right? We've seen him be productive the first 2 years in his career as well. But like, let's be honest, dude, he was not getting 25 sacks last season. He was not going to get like 120 pressures or whatever he was on pace for, right? Week 2 against the Bucks, 4.5 sacks against Justin Schooley. And like... Justin Schooley's on the Vikings now, so I got to be careful, right? Because for all I know, the Vikings are going to play the Lions. Vikings are going to have an injured tackle, and Justin Schooley's going to be on Aiden Hutchinson again. I'm sorry, man. He just hit the same spin move over and over again, you know. So I guess I say all that, you know, you get the Seahawks offensive line in there too. I say all that to say Aiden Hutchinson is the 7th best edge player in the NFL. And I think that that's very fair for a guy who really has performed at this level for the first 2 years of his career. And then, again, maybe this is dumb. I get that, but like, do we really think... I understand. Yes, like every edge rusher goes against bums every year. Do we really think he was actually going to get 25 sacks this past season? You know, I think 7 is fair. I think he's a little bit more limited in the run game. Some of that is just his shorter arms. There's only so much he can do. He does get a lot of tackles for loss, but you can dig him out of the run game at some points. He's a phenomenal closer. If you're the Lions, you feel great about Aiden Hutchinson being your best edge, right? You can win the Super Bowl with Aiden Hutchinson being your best edge. Real talk, honest opinion, yeah, I think Will Anderson is better. I think Danielle Hunter is better. I think Hendrickson is better. Bosa, Parsons, Garrett. I think all those guys are just a little bit better. Maybe the age cliff for Trey, Elena, I'll give you that. Like, yeah, Trey Hendrickson is 30, and I have been a little bit worried about him maybe not being quite as dominant going forward if the Bengals pay him. That's a little understandable, but I don't know. And I don't know. And we could get into nerdy stuff like win rate and all that stuff, but he's a very good player. If he goes out and he gets even 18 sacks this year, then okay. You know what? Last year wasn't a fluke, right? I'll put him up at 3 or 2. Honest opinion, I really think he is more of an 11 to 12 sack type of guy, and that's 7, and 7 is good. Yeah, but Nick Bosa is such a disruptor. Nick Bosa is one of the best in the NFL at playing the run, but I should have known the edge category would get the most. I like this though. This is fun, right? The Vikings Galaxy cast. I will say I'm fighting for my life right now, but I respect this, right? I think what's funny is that Hutchinson at 7 is definitely big. I feel like TJ Watt at 9, man. If Michael was in here right now, he'd be getting me. I'm losing my license for this. Football jail. Oh, man. But anyways, Aiden Hutchinson at 7. I'm sure he's going to come in a lot higher on ESPN's list. I get it. I ultimately think a year from now, we're going to, and maybe the injury will play a role in this, so maybe we need to wait 2 years. I'll be fair. If Hutchinson goes out and gets 8 sacks this year, I'm not going to be like, I told you, right? Okay, obviously he's probably limited by injury or something, but we shall see. That's what I'll say. We shall see. TJ Watt at 9. Low-key washed. I think a year from now, he might not even be on this list, to be honest. He really fell off at the end of last season. I don't know, man. This is terrorist. Anyways, and we got Jared Verse at 10. Let's take a look at ESPN's list. All right. Myles Garrett at 1. Let's go. Good start, right? Someone had him at 4. Interesting. But yeah, that checks out. TJ Watt at 2. Oh, man. I don't know, man. I've always kind of been the low man on TJ Watt just a little bit. And again, I feel like I've got some diabolical edge takes, right? I've always been slightly low on TJ Watt. I just feel like he's been just a little bit, not quite as crazy as his stats might suggest, right? And this is so lame, right? He is a slight... Here's the way I'll put it. He's the Drew Brees of edge rushers, and the fact... I just called him an edge rusher. He's the Drew Brees of edges, and the fact that, he is a stats god, and he's obviously very good, and he's an all-time great, and should go down in the Hall of Fame, but, I don't know that I would have ever considered him, the best defender in the NFL, you know? And I think that he has benefited from playing his entire career in a very good situation where he is just so far wide out, right? Talking about that wide 9 technique where man, all he does is just bend around the edge. You've got Cam Hayward soaking up all this pressure. He's one of the least double teamed top edges in the league. You know, there's a lot to like. He's a great finisher. He's got a great bag of moves. He gets after the quarterback and he's great in coverage. Again, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I do think he maybe lost a step just a little bit this past year. He really disappeared in some of Pittsburgh's big games. Low key, I don't like the deal that they gave him, to be honest. I really don't like how much Pittsburgh paid him. I feel like that contract is going to age a little poorly, but I'm contradicting myself here and there. Ruh-roh. Am I a fraud here? I said it myself, edges do more than just rushing the passer. Then what makes someone the best? I know. To me, obviously, a big part of the edge is rushing the passer. That's getting sacks, but also like that's impacting plays where you don't get sacks, right? That's beating your blocker. That's getting in the face of the quarterback. And I really do like edges that play the run well. You know, that's why like Nick Bosa's at 3. Also, dude, I got to redo this list. I forgot about Max Crosby. Low-key, I'd have Max Crosby above Hendrickson. I'd probably have Crosby at 4. That would bump Verse out, and then Watt would be at 10. We're going to do that real quick. I forgot about Max Crosby. See, you know, I do all this. I argue in circles like, no, guys, you don't get it. Like, my Aiden Hutchinson take is right. And then, like, I forget about Max Crosby. So maybe... maybe you guys have a point. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But Parsons at 3. Man, I think Parsons is closer to 1 than 3, to be honest with you. Crosby at 4. There we go. Bosa at 5. Hendrickson at 6. Hutchinson at 7. Crazy. I'm not the only one. Oh, we've been saved. You know, it's like ESPN, you might see some crazy rankings. This one is right, though. This one is actually right. Whew. All right. Saved by the bell. Thank you, ESPN. Highest ranking 3. Low. See, I would never do that. I would never do unranked, right? Hey, Lions fans, go get this guy instead. Don't get me. Will Anderson at 8. Beast. I love Will Anderson. Hunter at 9. Look at that. They have Hunter and Anderson back to back, just like my list. Different order though. And then Verse at 10. Yeah. I was a little surprised by how good Jared Verse was. I kind of liked him coming out of the draft. I didn't think he was going to be this good though. So yeah. Brian Burns, Nick Bonitto, Jonathan Grenard, George Karlaftis are honorable mentions. Also got votes for Josh Hines-Allen. Khalil Mack, that's pretty valid. Rashawn Gary, maybe. Trayvon Walker. If you want another guy that could break into the top 10. Low-key, maybe Trayvon Walker. Montez Sweat, Greg Rousseau, and Chop Robinson, who honestly had a very good rookie season. I don't know that I'd vote for him top 10, but I liked his rookie season. But that was edges. That one was fun. I'm washed. I'm on the same tier as the take merchants. You know what? Maybe I'm a take merchant just a little bit. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Mile Marker. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you in here. Enjoying my overviews. That's awesome. Well, there you go. Sorry about Aiden Hutchinson. I guess he's at 8 now. That makes it even worse after I slid Crosby in there. Yeah, I guess we all forgot about Max Crosby. Poor Max. I mean, he was hurt for a little bit last year, right? Parsons had an up and down year. Yeah, but he was hurt. I mean, once he came back, dude, like he was hurt and he still had 12 sacks last year. And he's a guy that I think has gotten a lot better playing the run throughout his career. I think he could go for like 20 sacks this year and like make a case for being the best edge in the NFL. Walker has the misfortune of being on the Jags. Yeah. Maybe one day they'll make it to the good place. All right. Oh, TJ Watt take. Let's see. I missed it. You've liked the ESPN list more than 2. You've liked the ESPN list more 2 of the 3 times. Uh-oh. Oh, man. I will post these in Discord once we're done. And if you guys want to like make your top 10s and post them in Discord, that'd be awesome. If you want to join Discord, by the way, if you're new here, check out the link in my bio. If you go click on my channel, right, there should be a link tree. You can go join the Discord. Trying to make that a thing again. Been off and on a little bit, but I will be sharing my top 10s here in the Discord once we're done here. We can dissect those a little bit further, but the ESPN one is clearing me right now. That's tough. All right, let's see if I can find this TJ Watt take. Oh, because TJ Watt looks like urinating tree. No, I feel like TJ Watt's a perfectly fine looking man, and so is urinating tree, you know? He's the disruptor. I hype up Nick Bosa to be. Nah, dude. TJ Watt ain't putting his hand in the dirt and defending the run on 2nd and 3 like Nick Bosa is. All right. I say all that like I know what I'm talking about, but just this is what I observe and what I believe, you know. Is this engagement bait? Nah, see that's the craziest thing. I'm like not trolling with any of this. I like engagement. I like attention, obviously, but this is what I believe. All right, safeties. Here we go. Little bit of redemption for the Lions. We've got a Lion at number 1. Brian Branch at 1. Kyle Hamilton 2. Jesse Bates 3. Xavier McKinney 4. Budda Baker 5. Derwin James 6. Kirby Joseph 7. 2 Lions there. Jack, get ready for this one. Julian Love at 8. There you go. There you go. Please, ESPN, have him in there. Please, ESPN. Jalen Petrie at 9. I don't think he's going to be in there. And Josh Metellus at 10. I would be surprised. Maybe. Metellus gets some hype, but maybe Vikings buys. I snuck Metellus in there at the end, dude. He's just such a sick player. Jabril Peppers, honestly, I wouldn't hate that. Or Kyle Duggar. I mean, those Patriots safeties are so nice. I don't hate that. But yeah, 2 Lions in the top 10. I mean, that's pretty easily the best safety duo in the league, right? 7 even felt like a little low for Kirby Joseph, but I don't know. There's a lot of good safeties. There are a lot of good safeties. But no, Brian Branch is legit, dude. Like, I don't know if he'll actually do it just because it's so hard to do it as a safety, but like he could go out and win Defensive Player of the Year this next season, right? He is a dude, man. He's on like a Hall of Fame level trajectory. And the fact that he's pretty much had seasons as a corner and as a safety, it's ridiculous. He's awesome. Yeah. So I hope Brian Branch comes in at 1 here. I think it might be Hamilton. I don't hate it. I totally get it. Kyle Hamilton, you could say, is just as good as Brian Branch. I like Branch just a little bit more personally. Just a tiny bit, man. And the fact that he like has worn the green dot for the Lions too, and he's been their signal caller on defense. Yeah, that's sick. Such a smart player. It's crazy that he fell to the 2nd round. Here we go. Kyle Hamilton at 1. Yeah, that's not surprising. No Minka. Yeah, I could have put Minka in there. I kind of forget. There's a few guys I forgot about. I would say Minka and Javon Holland you could put in there. Honestly, I might say Minka and Holland at 9 and 10 over Petrie and Metellus. We're going to change that, actually. He did have a down year, but he'll probably be better back in Miami. And then we'll do Javon Holland at 10. Sorry, Josh and Jalen. I love you guys, but yeah, we got to make some cuts. Good call right there. Good call. But let's see if we can get Julian Love some love here on this ESPN list. We got Hamilton at 1. It'll be Branch at 2. Yeah. Lowest ranking, unranked. Come on, man. What are we doing with these unranked Lions, right? Like, whatever. Man. McKinney at 3. I had him at 4. Sure. Ball hawk. Great ball hawk. Completely transformed the Packers defense. Bates at 4. Similar player to McKinney. Ball hawk. And I mean, I would say he transformed the Falcons defense, but he has lived up to every penny of the contract that he's got. Very good player. Made some clutch plays for Atlanta too. Kirby Joseph at 5. I get it. Sure. He led the league in picks last year, right? Derwin James at 6. Nice. Same exact spot. Yo, Antoine Winfield. Bro, he was hurt last year, and I kind of forgot about him. Hold on a sec. We got to make some more cuts. We're going to put Antoine Winfield Jr. at 7. That's crazy. See, you can tell that I kind of rushed through this a little bit because I forgot about some guys. And you know what? We're actually going to put Javon Holland over Minka Fitzpatrick. Sorry. Minka is going to be out of the top 10 when it's all said and done. CJ Gardner-Johnson, I thought about. I factored in age just a little bit, and he is a really good player. I just like these guys a little bit more. He's certainly in like that tier of like Javon Holland and Julian Love, I'd say. But dude, Winfield could honestly be even higher. Yeah. 7 seems low, honestly. He was so good when he was healthy in 2023. Low key, I'm going to put him at 5. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Buddha's really good, but I think Winfield's a little bit better. Boot at 8. That's good to see him still make the top 10. He's starting to get a little bit older. He's been trapped on some bad Cardinals teams, but he's just such a dog, man. I got to see him play in person, Vikings versus Cardinals. What a beast, man. What a dog. And we got Minka at 9. Oh, he did make it. He did make it. Let's go. Julian Love at 10. Bang. Bang. Oh, he did make it. There you go, Jack. We got 2 Seahawks represented in the ESPN list. But hey, I had him higher. So therefore, you got to like this one more, right? Maybe we can get to what? 2 for 4? 2 for 4 since I have Julian Love 1 spot higher, maybe? Honorable mentions for Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Trayvon Merrick. Nice signing right there. Kalen Bullock. Interesting. That's not the Texan safety I would have thought about as honorable mention. Petrie got some votes here. Justin Reed, Kyle Duggar, Hufanga. Harrison Smith got votes, but not Josh Metellus. I don't know. Quinton Lake and Grant Delpit. Okay. Not bad, honestly. I feel like this was a pretty solid list. Low-key, ESPN did a little better job than me because I keep forgetting guys. All right, safeties. Look at that. Hey, we're about an hour in. We're making good progress. This ain't going to be a 3-hour stream after all. Maybe. We'll see. I do like to yap from time to time, but look at that. Broncos defense was insane. I think it'll be just as insane this year, man. I mean, they only added to their defense. You add in Barron, you add in Hufanga. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Trying to win him back after his horrid edge list. Man, maybe I'll need to like make a YouTube short about my edge list or something like that. All right, here we go. Let's do tight ends next. I'm excited for this one. Tight end is my favorite position in all of football. If I were to be a football player, I would want to play tight end. Gotta show some love to the guys that are like half lineman, half receiver. And they're always big characters. Top 10 tight ends. Number 1, George Kittle. Number 2, Brock Bowers. Number 3, Trey McBride. Number 4, Sam Laporta. Number 5, Mark Andrews. Number 6, TJ Hawkinson. Number 7, Tucker Kraft. GOAT. Beast. Number 8, David Njoku. Number 9, Jonnu Smith. And I did it. This is the only other rookie to make it in here. I had Genty in here as a rookie. I've got one other rookie in here. And maybe there's a tight end I'm forgetting about and he'll get bumped. But as of right now, I've got Colston Loveland at 10. I snuck him in there at number 10 for the top 10 tight ends. Big notable one that is not here, and I did not forget about him. He is not on the list, is Travis Kelce. I thought about him. I think he'll make ESPN's list if I had to guess. He still had a solid, he still was a top 10 tight end last season. I don't know, man. He looked like he was out of gas in the playoffs, right? It looked very different from the 2023 season where he looked kind of out of gas in the regular season. And then for 4 games in the playoffs, it's like, holy crap, he's still the best tight end in football, right? I don't know, man. It's slightly over for him. He's improved a little bit as a blocker, and he plays just such an old head role, I guess, on the team now, right? I don't know, man. I could see him going for 650 yards this year, and he starts to take a little bit of a backseat in the offense. That Super Bowl performance was rough, right? And I mean, he's old, he's been injured and banged up, and tight end is just a very physically taxing position. So I don't have Kelce in my top 10. I think he'll be in ESPN's. I don't think Loveland is going to be in there. I'm curious if Bowers or Kittle will be at 1. And I feel like I might be the high man on Tucker Kraft. I don't know if Kraft will be in ESPN's top 10. I hope so, though. He's so good, dude. He's so good. He's so good. But, we got Garrett in here. Let's go. Welcome back, Garrett. Good to have you in here. Says he's been missing these streams because he's taking the bar next week. Good luck to you, man. That is no joke right there. Well, let's go. You're going to have to let us know how that goes. We're all rooting for you, though, Garrett. Can't give us legal advice just yet until you pass that bar. Let's go. My brother-in-law is actually taking the bar here pretty soon, too. So I will be locked in on a few bar exams now. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Good luck. Good luck. Kelce gets bumped off, but Mark Andrews stays at 5. Jack is asking. Yeah, I honestly thought Andrews had a great year last year. He started off a little slow. It looked like Isaiah Likely was going to take things over. But Andrews kind of got back up to speed. I know everyone is going to remember the drop. Unfortunate, right? And the fumble. Everyone's going to remember his divisional performance. Andrews had a good year last year. He was still a really good player last year. I still think he's a pretty good tight end. I have him over my man Hawkinson, you know? All right, let's see what ESPN's list is. Also, I guess I didn't need to open a separate tab, but I will. We got Michael in here too. Let's go. Welcome, Michael. Thank you for joining after the Edge rankings where I had TJ Watt at 9. Oh, welcome, Michael, though. We do have a Steeler in here, right? Jonnu Smith, new Steeler in the top 10 for tight ends. And I almost put Pat Freiermuth in here too, but just for a little bit of context, we're looking at all the different ESPN executives, coaches, scouts, top 10 positional rankings. And just for fun, I made my own top 10 for each position and just kind of comparing side by side. Kelsey had more yards than Andrews. Yeah, but Andrews missed some time, right? He was injured a little bit. Let me just look this up real quick. Did he miss a handful of games? He probably got fewer targets too. He appeared in all 17 games, started in 13. Yeah, he had 69 targets though, right? 69 targets versus Travis Kelsey, who had, I'm going to say like over 100. Yeah. I mean, Kelsey had like double the targets and only like 160 more yards, you know? And I just feel like Andrews moves a little better than Kelsey does these days. Maybe I'll regret leaving Kelsey out of the top 10, but yeah. Arthur Smith and Jonnu got reunited. Love does always win, man. Best friends right there. It's so wholesome. Low-key, Arthur Smith was right to play Jonnu over Kyle Pitts. Here we go. Bowers at 1. I like Bowers a lot. I say this as someone that watched every single game of Brock Bowers' collegiate career. I saw him win national championships for my alma mater, the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. I love Brock Bowers. He's not better than Kittle. I'm going to be real honest. He's not better than Kittle. Again, you want to like compare volume, right? And I think I posted this in Discord like back in January when I made my all-pro team. But Bowers had like 80 more targets than Kittle, but only 60 more yards. And Kittle is still like the best blocking tight end in the NFL versus where Bowers is average at best, right? Bowers is more of like a big slot guy, a guy that you put in motion. I like Bowers a lot, and I like this genre of player a lot. I think I tend to just slightly prefer tight ends that are a little bit better as a blocker. Now, Bowers is so good as a receiver, I've still got him at 2. I honestly think like pretty easily Kittle is better than Bowers. Jack is saying that Kittle is a big play merchant. I mean, not necessarily, right? I mean, if Kittle's a big play merchant, like getting all these big catches with Yak, like that's what Bowers' game is too, right? Like, honestly, I might even argue that Kittle is like still a better receiver than Bowers. Maybe Bowers is just like a little bit more comfortable working from the slot, but we've seen Kittle work from the slot and out wide plenty, right? Maybe Bowers is just a little bit better winning downfield. I don't know. I would say Kittle's better after the catch than Bowers is still, right? I mean, low-key, George Kittle had the best season of his career last year. He was ridiculous, right? 1,100 yards on less than 100 targets is insane. And he kind of was their offense for a little bit with all the injuries that they had, right? He did kind of have to carry a little bit. And they just ask him to do so much as a blocker. It limits how many looks he can get as a receiver. If you want to say Bowers takes a jump and Kittle takes a step back, I get that because Kittle is 31 and he's had injury problems and you kind of just hold your breath each time he gets hit. But yeah, these lists tend to lean more on potential and productive for the new guys. No, I get that. I don't think that like having Bowers at 1 is the worst take in the world, especially if you're looking ahead to this year. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I still might prefer Kittle, though. Laporta at 3. I had McBride, but I get that. Very, very similar players. Tight end, another position that honestly has gotten a lot better. But yeah, Laporta at 3, McBride at 4, Kelsey at 5. Oh, see, here's what's interesting, though, right? Because the logic of having Bowers over Kittle is like, okay, like we think going into this year, like maybe Bowers takes another step forward and Kittle doesn't, you know. Although I might argue with some of the moves that Vegas has made this offseason, like Bowers is just going to see fewer targets and might get fewer yards. Doesn't necessarily mean he's a worse player, but just the stat sheet will look a little drier for him. He might like only get 980 yards this year, which is, still really good for a tight end. But to have Kelsey at 5, I don't know, man. Someone had him ranked all the way up at 4. Lowest rating was unranked. We'll see. I don't know, man. I really thought this past year, like, oh, this will be his last hurrah. And like, oh my gosh, he's going to be a beast in the playoffs again. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of that. Andrews at 6. There you go. I like that. Hawkinson at 7. Hey, there we go. Hawkinson is still in there. There we go. I'm 2 for 5 with my tight ends now. Oh, no. No. Wait till we get to the quarterbacks. Isaiah Likely at 8. I actually don't hate that. Goddard at 9. I think he's a little bit closer to like a B minus type of guy than like top 10. And Njoku at 10. I love David Njoku. He's one of my favorite developments in the NFL. And the fact that like there was a time he almost got cut from the Browns because he just wasn't blocking. Like he just refused to block. Coaching staff got him to lock in. Now he's one of the nastiest blocking tight ends in the NFL. And he's very Kittle-esque, honestly. I just love this brand of tight end. I love David Njoku. Oh, baby. Let's go. Honorable mentions, we've got Kincaid, Freiermuth. I don't hate that. Henry, Evan Ingram, Cole Kmet, which I saw some people in chat were asking about Cole Kmet. Oh, I feel like Loveland is going to take over for him, though. I do like Kmet, and I think he'll be a very good tight end, too, but I don't know. Loveland is just a little bit more of a vertical threat and a little bit better of a separator. Ferguson is pretty underrated. I like him. Jonnu Smith not making the top 10. Then we've also got Dalton Schultz. Oh, Tucker Kraft didn't make it. Oh, I was worried about that, but whatever. Real ones know he's 7. Kyle Pitts, Juwan Johnson, and Zach Ertz. But all right, here we go. See, Laporta, statistically, he had a little bit of a slump, right? But, I mean, he still moved like the same guy. There's just so many mouths to feed in Detroit, right? Like, there will be a few games where he's just not getting as many targets. But, like, that, like, this player is still here. And he's still, like, for a slump, like, he still produced fairly well. But just didn't quite light up the stat sheet like year 1. But I still think, like, man, he's so good out wide too. When they split him out wide as like an isolated X, that's pretty sweet, man. We'll see how the new coaching staff uses him, but I feel like it's pretty hard to screw up, But all right, that was tight ends. We are making decent progress. We're like halfway through. The list states that rookies are ineligible. Okay, there we go. That's fair enough. All right, so I guess I'm cheating a little bit here by including some rookies. See, if I would have actually done my homework and, 1, remembered Max Crosby, but 2, knowing that rookies were ineligible. Unfortunately, no kickers. Maybe next time I'll throw in kickers and punters and return men. Maybe even long snappers. No, that's good. I can't honestly rank long snappers. I don't have like a legit long snapper take, but... all right. I'm 2 for 5. Let's see if we could do a little bit better with the interior offensive lineman. Man, I have been in such an offensive lineman rabbit hole recently. A little shameless self-plug right here. I actually just published a new article for the Football Analysis website. We're also through MSN, where I ranked the top 10 offensive lines as in units in the entire NFL. And I had a lot of fun doing that. I dropped the link in Discord like a month or 2 ago. I'll send it again once we're done here too, but go check that out. Good way to support not just this channel, but support a lot of upcoming creators. We've got a really great team. A lot of exciting stuff coming for this season over at footballanalysis1.com, or you can check us out at Football Analysis on MSN. But a lot of offensive line talk, great little self-plug, and a segue here to the top 10 interior offensive linemen. MSN does indeed still exist, and you know what? We're popping on there right now. Top 10 long snappers. Maybe I'll crunch some long snapper film. Maybe I'll do that. All right. Top 10 interior offensive linemen. This one is interesting because it's both guards and centers, right? So I had to look at 2 different positions essentially. This was the best list that I could come up with. We've got Quinn Miners at 1, Creed Humphrey at 2, Elton Jenkins at 3, Tyler Linderbaum at 4, Tyler Smith at 5, Joe Thuney at 6, Quentin Nelson at 7, Robert Hunt at 8, Eric McCoy at 9, and Chris Lindstrom at 10. And already we've got Jack asking about Trey Smith. He was one of the tougher cuts, right? And I think that's what's so tough about doing interior offensive linemen together and not just guards and centers. Because I would say for sure, like, Trey Smith is top 10 guard, right? I would have no issue putting him at, like, I don't know, the 8th best guard in the NFL, right? But when you've got to throw in centers too, he's got to compete with his own teammate, Creed Humphrey. He's got to compete with Tyler Linderbaum. He's got to compete with Eric Beast McCoy, right? It just gets a little bit tougher to break into. But he was a guy I thought about, right? There might be a few guys that just gets left off this list just because, you know, there's just only so many space. You can only have 10 guys. Cam Jurgens, he had a good year too. Like, he's a top 10 center for sure. But, you know, is he better than Robert Hunt? I don't know. Shout out Robert Hunt, man. Shout out Robert Hunt. Keep pounding. Let's see what ESPN has. Creed Humphrey at 1. I get it. Totally makes sense. I'm more of a Quinn Miners guy myself. And again, we're comparing guards and centers here. Like, you really just, I don't know, you got to get really silly with it. Miners was just so good this past year. And that Broncos offensive line was just so good. And he's the heart and soul of it. And he's a former D3 Wisconsin Whitewater player turned all-pro. I mean, he's so violent in the run game. Allowed the fewest pressures of any guard in the NFL last year. He's so good, man. He's so good. We've got Creed Humphrey at 1, Tyler Smith at 2. Okay. Maybe slight Cowboys bump, but also Tyler Smith really is him. I've said this a few times. Really, the one working part of Jerry Jones's brain that's left is drafting and developing offensive linemen. Tyler Smith, one of his greatest hits right there. I have him at 5. He's at 2. Understandable. Slight difference, sure. Quentin Nelson at 3. You know, a few years ago, 3 would have been low for him, honestly. There was a time where he was like the undisputed number 1. He's battled some injuries, but he's had a nice return to form these last few years. I have him at 7. He's at 3. Same sort of area. Trey Smith at 4. Maybe I'm being a little hard on him just because the lasting image I have is him just getting detonated on in the Super Bowl by Milton Williams. Like, man, he kind of got cooked in the Super Bowl a little bit, right? But who didn't get cooked on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? I like him a lot. I do think maybe he could just clean things up a little bit more. I don't know. Like, sometimes he just gets a little bit too aggressive. He'll whiff on a block every now and then. But when you get him out in space in the run game, he is a joy to watch. And he's a pretty good pass protector too. I could see him having, like it was a down year for him last year. And he was like, oh, he's guard 9. I could see him getting up to like top 5 again this year though. Very talented player. Chiefs have done a great job developing him. Landon Dickerson, that was another tough cut. Right? Played center in college. He's been a guard in the NFL. Maybe he'll switch back to center. I don't know. He's got some nice back and forth versatility. I don't have an issue with him being in the top 10, but like, I don't know. Like, I have Eric McCoy over him. I don't think Eric McCoy is going to be on this list. I'm not sure that Robert Hunt is going to be on this list, you know. Thuney's at 6, just like me for real. Let's go. Lindstrom at 7. I think we've corrected on Chris Lindstrom a little bit. I feel like there's a few years where he's a slight PFF merchant and like he was always PFF's highest rated offensive lineman. It's like, oh my gosh, guys, Chris Lindstrom, best blocker in the league. He's very good, slight zone specialist, but overall, yeah, he's good. I have him at 10, right? He's a good player. Quinn Miners at 8. Oh, this kills me. I'm sorry, man. Quinn Miners at 8. Highest ranking is 2. Some people had him off. Oh, unbelievable player, man. One of the best players in football, for real. Unbelievable player. Elton Jenkins at 9. Tyler Linderbaum at 10. Robert Hunt and Eric McCoy are honorable mentions at least. We'll take that. Now, Robert Hunt had a crazy breakout this past year. He was worth every penny that Carolina paid him. Eric McCoy has been really good too, man. It was a shame when he got hurt last year. He was unbelievable in Clint Kubiak's offense for those first few weeks where they were rolling, man. He was making everything go. Batonio's an honorable mention. Hey, he's another guy I thought about, right? But yeah, he's getting a little bit older, and it's just hard to break into the top 10 when you've got so many positions. Cam Jurgens, Peter Skoronsky had a nice second year. Hey, maybe Bill Callahan and the factory has still got it a little bit. Steve Avila, Ryan Kelly, hey, let's go. Kevin Dotson, Kevin Zeitler, Cody Mauk getting votes. Love to see it. Horns up, go Bison. Elijah Vera Tucker, John Simpson, Dominic Pooney, underrated player. Like him a lot. Zach Frazier, Sam Cosme, and Drew Dahlman. Okay, all right. Well, what's the verdict here, Jack? Whose list was better, mine or ESPN's? Let's see if we can improve the ratio here a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can finish above 500 with my lists. Anthony Bradford snubbed. I'm going to be honest, dude. I'm going to expose myself here. I don't have the strongest Anthony Bradford take either way. I don't think I would put him over any of these guys, though. But I don't know. Frank Ragnow retiring is crazy. Ragnow low-key would have been at like 2 behind Miners. But offensive tackles now. Here we go. We're starting to cruise a little bit. Offensive tackles. For my list, we've got Tristan Wirfs at 1, Lane Johnson at 2. That was a tough one. You could go either way there. Penei Sewell at 3, Jordan Mailata at 4, Trent Williams at 5, Christian Darrisaw at 6, newly paid Zach Tom at 7, Rashawn Slater at 8, Dion Dawkins at 9, and Andrew Thomas at 10. Andrew Thomas at 10. All right. Now let's take a look at the ESPN list. I had Wirfs at 1 over Lane. It was really close. Oh, ESPN's got him too. I think the tiebreaker for me, because man, I think like both these guys are future first ballot Hall of Famers. I think both these guys are just so unbelievably good, man. Like all-time greats. I put Wirfs at 1 over Lane because we've seen Wirfs be an all-pro at right tackle and left tackle. And I'm not saying like, oh, we don't know if Lane Johnson could be an all-pro at left tackle. Like, I'm sure he could, right? But it is just kind of ridiculous that Tristan Wirfs came into the NFL and was like immediately the best, or at very worst, like second or third best right tackle in the NFL. Buccaneers had some offensive line turnover, and they're like, okay, Tristan, go play on the left side now. Very different position, right? We're not just talking like him switching from one side to the other. Like, he's being asked to do a lot of different things. He's like, okay, sick. I'm actually even better at left tackle. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Buccaneers saying, I know ball. Welcome back, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know what? I appreciate that. We've had some nice dialogue about my list so far. Here's what I'll say. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers like my list. An actual NFL team likes my list. And that's what matters most in my heart, right there. Tristan Wirfs at number 1. Oh, they've got Sewell at 2 over Lane. That was like the big debate, right? That was like the big debate, the all-pro debate. And the Eagles had their whole like stat comparison in the locker. I like Sewell a lot. I think Lane's just a little bit better. He's just a little bit better in pass protection. You could say Sewell's a little bit better in the run game. You could say that like Sewell's the best run blocker in the NFL. Yeah, he probably is. But Lane is so unbelievably good in pass protection. I think Lane's a lot closer to 1 than he is to 3, personally. Even at age 35, there has been no fall off for him whatsoever. Like, low-key, he's the best player on the Eagles, like even over Saquon, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't hate Sewell at 2. Like, I honestly think all 3 of these guys are going to make the Hall of Fame. Real talk. Oh, I don't know. But Trent Williams at 4. I have him at 5. I mean, he was still pretty good. He's been banged up a little bit, but he's still been pretty good when he's been on the field. He is 36. You maybe worry about the fall off a little bit, but for now, I've seen no reason to keep him out of the top 5, you know. Mailata at 5. Okay, they're just switched. Cool. Slater at 6. Laramie Tunsil. I thought about him. He's coming off a down year. A lot of that was penalties, but he did just get beat a little bit more. Maybe some of that was like the weirdness in the Texans offensive line, and they've made some coaching changes and they've talked about culture and all that. Like, I would not be surprised one bit if in a change of scenery, Tunsil has a much better season this next year. And I think it'll certainly help when you've got Jaden Daniels, who can kind of make life really easy for your offensive line just with all the running around he's able to do. But I did keep him out, though. There's just so many good tackles, right? You got to cut some guys. I've got Dion Dawkins at 9. They've got him at 8. Darrisaw at 9. I've got him at 6. Maybe Vikings bump right there. But, man, Injuries is the biggest thing with him. Another Vikings fan hating on the Lions. I swear I'm not a hater. 3 is good, I promise. He's above Darisaw. And then Andrew Thomas at 10. Matchy. Jake Matthews still hanging in there. Look at that. I thought about Joe Alt. Had to cut him. Thought about Ronnie Stanley. Had to cut him. Colton Miller. I think of him more as like a good starter than like a top 10 guy. But okay. Taylor Decker. You could talk me into Taylor Decker being at like 10. Bernard Raymond's another guy who I think could like wind up in this list next year. He had a really good season this past year. Also got Brian O'Neill, Charles Cross. There you go, Jack. Charles Cross getting some votes. I would say he's like a tier below like a top 10 guy, but he is a good starter, right? And he's one of the keepers for Seattle's offensive line for sure. I do think he's been a pretty good pick overall for Seattle. Orlando Brown Jr., I don't know. Name bump, I think, a little bit. Spencer Brown, valid. Oh, I thought about Spencer Brown in my top 10, honestly. It was tough deciding between him and Dawkins. Paris Johnson, I'm keeping my eyes on him this year. He might be in line for a breakout. Luke Gedeke, I think I got it right. I'm never quite sure with his name. Garrett Bowles, another guy I thought about, and Zach Tom. Oh, Zach Tom is so underrated. Another goat being snubbed by the haters. Taylor Decker. Charles Cross, not even an honorable mention. He was in there, right? Yeah. Also receiving votes. I see what you mean. He's an honorable mention. He's the most honorable mention. All right. Here we go. Oh, boy. It's quarterbacks time. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's another loss. I'm not getting to 500, am I? Hey, Gabe thinks I got it right. The Buccaneers think I got it right. There we go. Ron is saying no lineman for the Bengals should be making any lists. True. Truth nuke right there. Sebastian, dude, the actual Lions haters are a part of this survey, right? Hutchinson unranked, Brian Branch unranked, Sewell at 7. They're the real Lions haters, I swear, guys. All right, it's quarterback time. I'm excited for this one. Some of you guys might have a pretty decent idea of how this is about to go if you've tuned into my quarterback rankings quizzes. I've tweaked it a little bit again. I just think this is who I think the best quarterbacks are. If I was building a team from scratch going into this season, who are the 10 guys I would want in this order? Here we go. Half point for lineman list, so we'll say 2 for 6. All right. I'll live with that. Quarterbacks. Number 1, Lamar Jackson. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Number 5, Matthew Stafford. Number 6, Dak Prescott. Number 7, Justin Herbert. Number 8, Jordan Love. Number 9, CJ Stroud. And number 10, Jaden Daniels. That is the top 10 quarterbacks. That, in my opinion, are the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Couple of big things. First off the bat, Mahomes is at 3. And I say this as someone that owns a Patrick Mahomes jersey. I really like Patrick Mahomes. He is one of my all-time favorite players to watch. He's already cemented himself as like probably the second best QB ever, right? Maybe the best peak for any quarterback ever. Here's what I'll say. Tom Brady was not the consensus QB1 in the NFL every single season of his career, right? If we are going to be really honest with ourselves, has Patrick Mahomes been the best quarterback in the NFL for not even the past season, the past 2 seasons? I would say for the past 2 years, straight up, Lamar and Josh have just been a hair better. And again, we're talking about like 3 guys that I think are going to go on to make the Hall of Fame first ballot, right? Yes, some of it you can point to Mahomes' supporting cast, like drops and poor receiver play and everything. But I think especially this year, there was a tiny bit that was on him. Just a tiny bit. He struggled with deep passing just a little bit more than he ever has before in his career, right? Things just felt a little bit more frustrating for this offense this year. And it was still a pretty good offense overall. And again, 3 is like the floor for him. Like this was probably like the worst season of his career, and he's like just barely quarterback 3. And if you still want to have him at 1, I get it. I honestly think, though, too much of the argument right now for Mahomes at 1 is, well, it's Mahomes. He has to be. You know what? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Lamar and Josh are just a tiny bit better as of right now. Maybe that changes a year from now, but what I have seen with my eyeballs for the past 2 seasons, I've got Lamar at 1, man. I don't know. I have truly become radicalized on Lamar this year. He low-key had like one of the best seasons ever, man. I don't think Lamar is going to be at 1 on here. I think it'll probably be Mahomes at 1. Again, I get it. I understand. That's the one big elephant in the room right now. I should not be the same for Mahomes' fault. No, but like I think a tiny bit of it was this year, though, right? Like just a tiny bit. Oh, man. Jaden Daniels has the same amount of playoff wins as Dak as a rookie and doesn't have... Oh, see, playoff... Okay, well then why isn't Jimmy Garoppolo number 1, right? If we're talking playoff wins, right? Like, where's Brock Purdy at? He's got a lot of playoff wins, right? I know. I did all that for Mahomes at 3, but we've got Dak at 6. I had some fun Dak discussions about a month ago with Gabe and Oscar. That was a lot of fun. I am a veteran of the Dak Prescott wars, man. I have always stood with Dak. He's a very divisive quarterback. I'm the high man on him. I received a medal for my service in the Dak Prescott wars in 2023, campaigning for him to be an MVP candidate. I think he's going to have a monster year this year, man. I'm pretty high on the Cowboys, and I'm pretty high on Dak. If he's healthy, man, I don't know. I think he's going to remind everyone just how good of a quarterback he is. Here's what I'll say. Here's a slight teaser, because I will take a much deeper dive into these quarterback rankings in a little bit. Here's what I'll say. I am working on one of the most ambitious writing projects, I will say, that I've undertaken right now for the Football Analysis website. At least I've been toying with it a little bit. I may or may not drop a QB rankings, ranking all 32 starting quarterbacks, complete with like super in-depth stuff and like making my case for everything. So this is just kind of the Spark Notes version of what's to come. But I know like some guys that get left off, like Goff, Baker, tough cuts, right? Like super productive. If you want to put him in at 9 or 10, I totally get that. I have no issue with that. Jalen Hurts is left off here too, right? Man, again, like that's the nature of these top 10s, is sometimes you just got to cut guys off. But anyways, so Jack was saying something about the top 4. The top 4 are like all the same for me, so I cannot say it wrong there. Let's go. Okay, here we go. We'll take that at least. But Ron is a Cowboys fan and he's not sold on Dak. Oh my gosh, dude. I just love Dak so much. I love the way he plays. I think he can make every throw in the book. He's so good in the pocket. I love how aggressive he is. And I just really think with George Pickens there finally, right? Like, yes, he had CeeDee Lamb, but I'm sorry, like, dude, we were talking about like Kavonte Turpin running routes for them, right? Jalen Tolbert was getting serious looks for them, right? They have not had a true outside guy since Michael Gallup. And Dak loves throwing down the sideline. He loves throwing downfield, right? Pickens is going to be perfect for him. Pickens and CD complement each other perfectly. Like, would it really surprise you that much if Dak Prescott, like, led the NFL in touchdown passes again this season? I don't know, man. I don't know. We got Pair Champs list in here. Let's go. Gabe wants to hear my Love take. We've got Elena saying Jordan Love needs to prove more. And this is funny because I'm a Vikings fan, right? I am honestly the high man on Jordan Love. And I'm not going to go into this too much because Jordan Love is actually a big part of my next video, which I've been working on for the past couple of weeks. And I'm pretty excited for where we're going with this. Here's what I will say. I honestly think Jordan Love's greatness is a little bit misunderstood. He is one of the hardest quarterbacks in the NFL to sack, even though he throws a lot of interceptions. I mean, he threw 11, right? He avoids so many negative plays because he doesn't get sacked. Some of that you can chalk up to the Packers offensive line, but also like he is an incredible athlete and he is really good at moving in the pocket. He is really good at avoiding pressure. And even when the Packers line does lose, very rarely is he like holding on to the ball too long, taking a sack. And if anything, he's going out there and he's making a play. He's scrambling for 5 yards. He's hitting the little fadeaway, right? Yes, maybe he has a little bit too much Brett Favre in him. Yes, maybe he runs into trouble a little bit too much and gets a little bit too aggressive. He tries a lot of crazy stuff, but also like he hits it most of the time. He really does. He was injured last year, and that kind of threw a wrench in things too. And if you want to look at like teams that lost the most yards or expected points from drops last year, the Packers, I think, led the NFL in that, right? So I think a healthy season, a little bit more reasonable expectations, an improved receiver room. Jordan Love is like a dark horse MVP for me, seriously. I am like pretty high on Jordan Love. I think he's a great quarterback, man. I really do. He's a joy to watch. I really like watching him play. And again, I say this as a Vikings fan, right? I am kind of in on Jordan Love. But that is the Jordan Love take right there. I think he's got such a good arm. He can hit all the different angles. I don't know, man. He's a good player. Mahomes at 1, sure. I get it. Allen at 2. All right. Reigning MVP. Again, like if you really want to like, I don't know about that though. I was just about to say, if you want to have Lamar, Allen, and Mahomes in any order you can, as much as I love Burrow, I feel like this is pretty clearly tier 1. Burrow's just maybe a tick behind these 3. I really think so. Burrow is amazing, obviously. I just think he's a slight tick behind these 3. I would not have Burrow over Lamar, personally. Teach their own. Daniels at 5. Ooh. I have him at 10, though. I totally get having him in the top 10. 5. Ooh. Stafford at 6. Let's go. Herbert at 7. Hey, I have Herbert at 7. And I have... No. Okay, never mind. Goff at 8. Yeah, here's one that chat's been talking about a lot. And I get it, right? Like, Jared Goff is clearly not the same quarterback that he was with the Rams. He has improved a lot. He has gotten better against the blitz. He's gotten a little bit better against pressure, and he's just a little bit more of a confident player. He's uber productive, and even if you want to say like system QB or whatever, like, man, he gets that ball out with timing. He hits his receivers in stride. He runs the offense really well. And not just anyone can like run the offense the way that Goff could, right? Like, there is something to be said about like, yeah, Goff is a system QB, but he runs the system brilliantly, right? I think the biggest thing, though, he's gotten better at navigating pressure, but it is still kind of a weakness for him a little bit. And we still just see a few meltdown games from him each year, right? I mean, we saw him, no disrespect, but he did kind of melt down in the playoffs this past season, right? Commanders were able to get some pressure on him. He turned the ball over 4 times, right? You look at that Texans game. Houston's able to get pressure on him. He turns the ball over 5 times, right? And they're still somehow able to win, you know? Like, he's just not a very good athlete. He can't move around very well, just like Kirk Cousins, right? And the truth is, like, that does kind of limit your ceiling a little bit. And, you know, for the past few years, when you're Detroit, your offensive line is great, your play calling is great, your receivers are great. Like, it doesn't really matter. If you're the Lions, you shouldn't care, like, if Jared Goff isn't a great athlete or not, because you're making it work, right? I am a little curious to see how he does this year. More so without Frank Ragnow than Ben Johnson. Honestly, when it was just Ben Johnson out the door, I'm like, honestly, they'll make it work. Like, everything is still so good. Losing Ragnow is a big deal for a quarterback that struggles with with interior pressure as much as Goff does. I don't know. You've got Tate Ratledge coming in there now. I don't think that's nothing. I get that every QB has meltdowns, except, yeah, but like, it happens with Goff more than like any other quarterback in this top 10, right? Except for like maybe if you want to argue like Love has had some meltdowns and Prescott. But I also feel like with Prescott or Love, like, the highs are much higher than Goff. Personal opinion, but oh, no, we'll see. That you're right. That is a great poll right there, Elena. In my own QB video, I said the term system QB is not an insult. It is not, right? I think you have to view things from a couple different perspectives, right? From me, the analyst perspective, if I just have to put 10 quarterbacks in order, like who are the 10 best quarterbacks, right? I probably just wouldn't have Goff in the top 10. If you're a Lions fan, or if you're the Lions, right? Dude, the Lions don't care like where Goff comes in on these QB rankings. The Lions don't care if Goff is seen as a system QB or not. They just care that they're picking up yards and winning games, right? So it's two different things, right? I guess. So I have no issue like JJ McCarthy, the Vikings QB, he's probably going to be a system QB this year. And honestly, if he is, let's go. I'll take it because that means the system is good. But I also probably wouldn't throw JJ McCarthy in here if he threw for 4,000 yards, unless it was like, okay, JJ McCarthy is the one making things go. And it's not just, screw it, Jefferson down there somewhere. Herbert did throw 4 picks. Absolutely. I mean, again, that's why I have him down at 7. Some people will try and force Herbert into like 3 or 4. It's like, all right. He's a great player. Let's slow down just a little bit. Thank you for the super chat, Gabe. Bazinga. Let's go. Bazinga. Hurts at 9. I have him off my list. I don't want to. There's been so much Jalen Hurts talk. I know Pear Champ was saying something about like maybe Hurts gets punished a little bit too much. You know, it's an interesting debate. You could spend hours playing the hypothetical game. Well, if so and so had this and so had that, man, I'm going to save my Jalen Hurts take for the article. How about? And then Baker at 10. I have Baker was a tough cut. I have him at like, I don't know, probably 13 or 14 or something like that. But oh man, who did I say is more of a system quarterback? Goff, Purdy, and Jalen Hurts. If I had to rank the 3, I would say Goff is easily the best of those 3. I would say Goff. I'm going to go Goff, Hurts, and Purdy in that order, honestly. But I would say Goff is like a cut above those other 2. And I would, if you want to throw Tua in there too, I would say Goff, Hurts, Purdy, Tua, honestly. Like, out of all the quote-unquote system QBs, right, I think Goff is easily the best. Goff is, like, pretty good. He's clearly good enough to win a Super Bowl, yes. But so was like 2015 Peyton Manning. So was Nick Foles, you know, right? Like you could win a Super Bowl with a shocking amount of quarterbacks, but no CJ Stroud or Jordan Love. Those are the 2 honorable mentions. We've also got Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy. Prescott wasn't even an honorable mention. Oh, baby, we're not writing back this year. Oh, baby, let's go. Aaron Rodgers, Tua, and Bo Nix also receiving votes. Quarterbacks, that was fun. We've got a few more. We've got 3 more here. We're going to try and wrap this up by 10 o'clock. We're going to see if we can speed through these last 3. We've got off-ball linebackers, wide receivers, and corners. I missed a concussion question. Am I a fraud system YouTuber? I just might be. Oh, shoot. Something about, was it Jalen Hurts getting concussed by Frankie Louvu? Or was it, no, it was Jared Goff. Dude, I'm tripping. Yeah, I think that certainly probably played a role, right? I'm trying to remember when exactly in the game it was that he got concussed. That is fair. I did kind of forget about that. But I mean, again, like the thing with Goff, and it's a lot easier said than done with how sick the Lions offensive line has been and how quick he gets the ball out. But I still think like, man, if you can win at the line of scrimmage, you can force Goff into a few more mistakes. But that's just my opinion. All right, off-ball linebackers. I almost clicked on ESPN's list. We're getting there. Here we go. Number 1, Fred Warner. Number 2, Zach Bond. Number 3, Roquan Smith. Number 4, Jordan Brooks. Number 5, Dre Greenlaw. Number 6, Blake Cashman. Number 7, Jack Campbell. Number 8, Frankie Louvu. Number 9, Robert Spillane. Oh, I love Robert Spillane. And number 10, Edrin Cooper. Look at that. We got another Lion in here, right? Showing some love to Jack Campbell at 7. How about the nice turnaround for Jack Campbell? Maybe an up and down rookie year, right? People were kind of turning their nose up at the draft capital. But man, the Lions have really coached him up. He's turned into a great player. He's turned into a pretty darn good player, honestly. I am big on Jack Campbell. He's been a fun player. Blake Cashman at 6. I'm not sure Blake Cashman's going to be in here. Completely unbiased opinion. Dude, Blake Cashman is so good, man. He's so good in coverage. He's so good downhill. Like he is a very complete player. He's great at blitzing and Flores' defense too. But really the biggest thing is he's so good at covering that intermediate middle of the field. And you could tell when he was out for the Vikings last year. It's worth noting the 2 games that the Vikings lost last year in the regular season, Blake Cashman was out for, right? And especially that Lions game, dude. Detroit just absolutely cooked us over the middle with Amon-Ra and Laporta, right? Cooked us with Gibbs. We missed Cashman so badly. Clearly it didn't matter because, they cooked us again in week 18. But I don't think Cashman will be on here. I don't think Robert Spillane will be on here. I was a little bummed the Raiders didn't keep him. He's turned into such a good player. I wonder if Warner or Bond will be number one. I thought about putting Bond at 1. I still have Roquan at 3, even though honestly he didn't really play like the third best linebacker in the NFL last season. But I think he'll bounce back a little bit. I think it's safer to bet on him coming back up near the top than like falling out of the top 10, you know. But low-key, he didn't have a great year last year. I don't know. Luvu, this is tell us everyone's Frankie Labubu. That's crazy. We've got Dubai Chocolate, Frankie Labubu, Benson Boone Crumble Cookie. Let's pull up ESPN's list. If I put Bond at 1, I got 100 points. Oh, that's right. Because Fred Warner, I was like, wait, why do you like Zach Bond so much? I really thought about it. Fred Warner's still just ridiculously good, though, man. I don't know. Hey, I stand with Nick Sirianni, but 5 more hours. Oh, 5 more hours. We're just getting started. And with John Harbaugh as Craig Heffley, or Fregley, that's what it was. Tyler Linderbaum. All right, Fred Warner at 1. Sorry, Jack. There you go. Roquan at 2. All right, whatever. I have him at 3. I would not have him over Bond, though. I don't know. Maybe people think Bond is a one-year wonder. Don't you think Vic Fangio is just going to squeeze every last drop of juice out of him, though? Nick Bolton at 4. I think Bolton is... I would have him more in the teens, honestly. He is a pretty good player, though. I would have like Leo Chenal over Nick Bolton, honestly. Leo Chenal would be my Chiefs representative if I had to pick one. Interesting. Nick Bolton at 4. He's not a bad player, though, but Frankie Louvu at 5. I love Frankie Louvu. Panthers legend, beast on the Commanders. He was like low-key their best pass rusher last year. Tremaine Edmonds at 6. Okay. He's been all right. Levante David at 7. Man, I love Levante, and he still had good moments last year. I don't know. I wonder if this is maybe a slight lifetime achievement award. Hopefully the Tampa Bay Buccaneers still aren't watching. You didn't see that, Tampa. I thought about Levante for a second. I was like, I can't put him in the top 10. DeMarvion Overshawn, dude, he had a nice year last year. Then he got hurt. I kind of forgot about him, but he was a nice surprise for Dallas's defense last year. Yeah, we're not seeing Robert Spillane, are we? Quincy Williams is another name I thought about. Dre Greenlaw fell due to injury a little bit, but man, I think when he's healthy, he'll be back up there a little bit. JOK honorable mention. I didn't know what to do with him with like his heart condition and everything. I mean, I don't even know if he's going to play again. I'd love to. I mean, he's a fun player to watch when he's out there, though. I saw some Bobby Wagner talks in chat. He's very good against the run, and he's still good at getting downhill. I don't know, man. I don't know. Patrick Queen, I don't know. He kind of got exposed a little bit without Roquan. Demario Davis, Matt Milano, just getting a little bit older, both those guys, right? Logan Wilson, Jack Campbell, a lot of honorable mentions here. Blake Cashman, let's go. He at least was an honorable mention. We'll take that. Zaire Franklin, tackle merchant. He's a dog. I love how hard he plays, but he's kind of a tackle merchant, to be honest. Aluakon, Jameen Sherwood. We also got TJ Edwards, Terrell Bernard, Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks also receiving votes, and I had him at 4. That's crazy. Deion Henley. I thought about Henley in my top 10. Drew Tranquil, Robert Spillane. There he is. Christian Harris, Pete Werner, Caden Ellis, Ernest Jones, and Nakobe Dean. Hey, we've got an also receiving votes Seahawk right there. We'll take that at least. But I think maybe linebacker is my most hipstery one yet. I got a little too weird with it, maybe. I swear Robert Spillane is linebacker 9. I promise. Weird that Wagner is in either top 10. I mean, he was less of a problem than I thought he would be. Like, he was still good in a few areas of the game. I do think that he and Frankie Louvu are a hilarious combo at linebacker because both those guys can really only go forward. And I think Louvu's just a little bit better at that at this point. Gabe is saying check his stats last year. Levante, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure he still got his tackles and stuff, right? And again, like, it's not to say that, like, oh, he's completely cooked and he's washed and it's like over for him. As crazy as I might sound, though, I would take Robert Spillane over Levante David. You know, I don't know. He's 35, right? Yeah, I don't want to be too hard on him, though. He is my sunshine. He is an all-time great. And I was pounding the table for Levante David's Hall of Fame case like a few months ago, right? So remember that instead, Tampa Bay. How about that? All right. We've got 2 left. We're almost done, folks. I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys that have been sticking around here in chat all night long. You guys have been awesome. We've got some new faces in here, which has been really nice. Had some Scorigami talk. Yeah, Mina Kimes is going to be in the next Scorigami vid. I'm excited for that. John Boys over at Secret Base making the new Scorigami documentary. I know Mina Kimes did like a 15-minute news package on Scorigami for ESPN like back in 2017 or 2018 or something, right? So, yeah, man. Yeah, man. That'll be good. We'll be locked in for that, but 2 left, wide receivers and corners. Wide receivers, you might have got a little bit of a teaser of when we did the wide receiver tier list. But here we go, in order. Sorry, Jack. Jackson Smith-Njigba is not going to be the best of the best like he was in the tier list. Here we go. Top 10 wide receivers. Here's what I'll say. I think out of all my top 10s, this is the one that I'm proudest of. I think this top 10 is my masterpiece. This is the one that I'm most confident in, and this is the one that I will defend the most. I just love the state of wide receiver in today's NFL. There's so many good ones. There's a lot of tough cuts, but I feel very good about this group of 10 players. I feel great about this list. Here we go. Justin Jefferson 1, Jamar Chase 2, Puka Nacua 3, A.J. Brown 4, CeeDee Lamb 5, Nico Collins 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown 7, Brian Thomas Jr. 8, Malik Neighbors 9, and Drake London 10. Sebastian saying not too bad. Hey, there we go, right? Hey, look at that. We got another lion in here. I mean, shoot, if we go through, we've got a lion here, we've got a lion here, we've got a lion here, we've got 2 lions here, lion here, lion here, lion here, and lion here. I mean, look at that. First non-controversial list. Look at that. People rocking with the top 10 wide receivers. You know what? I like that. Let's go. Jack is saying JSN over London. I don't know, dude. I love Drake London so much. I was thinking, like, does Drake London go all the way up to 8 maybe? Like, I don't know, man. I love Drake London. He's blossomed into an incredible player. And the fact that he's been unlocked out of the slot, too. He's a big slot receiver. I don't know if he'll be in ESPN's top 10, but I actually feel great about calling Drake London like the 10th best receiver in football. He could go off if Penix is good next year. I really think so. Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. was tough, too. You could flip a coin, have either of those guys. And then just from here, like, this is like the all-pro tier. Like, these are established all-pros. Bad. There's so many good receivers. I love the wide receiver position. Chase at 1 over Jefferson. I understand it. He won the Triple Crown, right? Again, you're splitting hairs. You're flipping coins. I have Jefferson just a hair above Chase because I just think Jefferson, no bias. I don't know. I just really think he gets attention unlike any other receiver in football. And I don't have like numbers up with me right now, but I'd be willing to bet Jefferson gets double and triple teamed more than Chase does. And I don't know, he just gets harder looks. He's still just a little bit better from the slot. Chase is maybe a little bit more of a big play threat, but Jefferson is so good in that intermediate part of the field. And Jefferson's a good big play threat too, right? I mean, hey, he had a 97-yard touchdown last year. We've seen Jefferson haul in long bombs or take, short passes and 50 yards after the catch and score, all that good stuff, right? I won't even argue against Chase at 1, though. That's how hard it is, right? I mean, it's like, man, it's about as good as it gets at the top right here. These are 2 all-time greats. I really think so. Tyreek Hill at 3, that's a big one. I did not have Tyreek Hill on my list. I honestly think it's coming for him. I don't know, man. He kind of had a down year last year. He struggled with drops the past few years. Maybe looked just a hair slower. I mean, he still had a few big plays of his own, right? I question his buy-in a little bit. I question things going on in that locker room. And I just think his game might not age super well just because so much of it is built off of him being like unbelievably fast, right? I've given this take before on the tier list stream, but I am willing to be out early on Tyreek Hill. Maybe he bounces back and he has like a 1,300 yard season. I don't know if he goes for like 1,800 yards again, though, like he was a few years ago, right? He didn't even go for 1,000 last year. And yeah, some of it was like injuries, but like, and like Tua got hurt, but also like, I wasn't really that impressed by him last year, to be honest. So I have him outside of my top 10. He's at 3, though. CeeDee Lamb at 4. I have him at 5. AJ Brown at 5. I have him at 4. Oh, Lord. Amon-Ra at 6. I have him at 7. There's one player, though, that we haven't gotten to yet. This is making me sad. Malik Neighbors at 7. I have him at 9. Nico Collins at 8. I have him at 6. Mike Evans at 9. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Hey, Mr. 1,000 yards, right? But I hate this whole like, oh, he's just like a 1,000-yard season merchant. Like, dude, he would have gotten way more than this if he didn't get hurt last year. He has honestly been playing some of the best football of his career the past few years. He's become a little bit more of a complete receiver, too. I think he'll get it again this year. I really do. If you want to have him at 9, I understand that. Not over Puka, though. Not over Puka. Come on. No, Puka didn't make it. Oh, my gosh. Garrett Wilson at 10. I might have him at like 14. Honorable mentions, Terry McLaurin, Puka Nacua. No. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. This kills me, man. Low-key, I like almost want to throw Puka in the tier with Jefferson and Chase. I don't think I quite can, but oh, man. We'll see, man. I love Puka so much. I have waxed poetic about Puka so much on this channel. I'll spare you again. Hey, look at that, Jack. Devontae Adams. Look at that. Honorable mention. I know we had a fun little Devontae Adams debate. Oh, dang it. No, I would have had JSN as an honorable mention. Like, I would have JSN over McLaurin. I would have him over Metcalf, honestly. That surprises me that Metcalf's an honorable mention, not JSN. Devontae Smith, Ladd McConkey. Ooh, low-key, if you want a guy outside the top 10 that could break in, it might be Ladd. JSN, Jameson Williams, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley. All right. I mean, I don't know about top 10, but he had a solid year last year. Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton. Okay, my list washes this one. Thank goodness. See, I knew I cooked with this one at least. At least I knew I cooked with this one. Oh, man, I'm with you, Pear Champ. That breaks my heart. We'll see. We ain't writing back, baby. We will see. Oh, this was him being injured. Oh, baby. I love Puka. He's like one of my favorite players in the NFL, man. I love Puka so much. All right. One more list. One more list. One more list. One more list. Here we go. Also, I appreciate the top 10 for Pear Champ here. Let's read this off before we transition to corner. Pear Champ has got Chase 1, Jefferson 2, CD 3, Puka 4, Nico 5, Neighbors 6, BTJ 7, AJ Brown 8, Ladd 9, and JSN 10. Dude, Loki, I love the Ladd at 9 take, honestly. Ladd is so good. I am so in on Ladd McConkey. Gabe says, I understand these rankings better, and knowing if you're going to start your team may stray away from age. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. Top 10 corners, and then we're done. Patrick Surtain at 1, Christian Gonzalez at 2, Sauce Gardner at 3, Derek Stingley Jr. at 4, Trent McDuffie at 5, Jalen Johnson at 6, Jalen Ramsey at 7, Cooper DeJean at 8, Marlon Humphrey at 9, and Christian Benford at 10. Jack, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about Witherspoon. I wanted to get Spoon in there. I really did. I really did. I just couldn't find a spot for him. I know. He's one of my favorite players. If I had to do top 10 favorite corners to watch, he's probably like 2, you know. I'm sorry, man. I know. We'll see if he makes ESPN's list. We, just for you, will do an honorable mention Devin Witherspoon. How about that? There we go. I thought about Quinyon Mitchell too. Honestly, I was like, should I have Quinyon or Cooper DeJean in there, right? And it really just comes down, I don't know, like Quinyon, I feel like has a slightly tougher job as an outside corner, and he really, I don't know. I just think for me, when Cooper DeJean came into the Eagles lineup once he returned from injury, that's when things really started to transform in their defense. And he's just so versatile. You could put him all over the field, right? And you just think about some of the game-changing plays that he's made, right? The big hit on Derrick Henry, the pick in the Super Bowl. If you want to have Quinyon in your top 10, I have no issue with that, man. He is a great outside corner, and I think he could be even better this year. He struggled with grabbiness just a little bit at the beginning of the year, but he started to really lock in. So I don't have an issue if you want to have him in your top 10, but every Wisconsin I would give up beer forever if it meant getting Amon-Ra on the Packers. Some Amon-Ra talk there. Jack saying he saw a comment that Gonzo is the better corner, but Spoon is the better player. I get what you mean by that, right? Spoon has a little bit more dog in him. I will say though, and I'm gonna steal a Theo Ash tweet here. Christian Gonzalez really is the ethical hooper of corners, and that he is such a pure man corner. He gets very little help, and he's just so locked down. He was an all-pro last. I don't know if he actually made the all-pro team. He should have though. He should have. All right, let's see how the ESPN list shakes out. I mean, it's got to be Surtain at 1, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Defensive player of the year. Really, no question. Really shouldn't be a debate. Stingley at 2. I get it. Ward at 3. I thought about Denzel Ward. Ward at 3. He is pretty good, though. He's had a slight up and down career, but way more up than down. And he's another one of those ethical man corners. McDuffie at 4. I've got him at 5. Love Trent McDuffie. Love seeing him emerge more as an outside guy this year, right? We've seen him as an all-pro in the slot and now on the outside. Great player. I wanted the Vikings to draft him so badly back in the day. Sauce at 5. I've got him at 3. Definitely the worst season of his career thus far, but also the first 2 years of his career, he was straight up the best corner in the NFL. And I think Aaron Glenn is going to get him right. It will be interesting to see how much man versus zone they run, right? Because Sauce is very much a zone guy. Aaron Glenn ran a lot of man in Detroit, but also Aaron Glenn is not going to be calling the defensive plays. It's going to be Steve Wilkes for the Jets. So I think it'll be a happy medium, but I would like to see maybe Sauce run a little bit more man. And as Jack pointed out, maybe not the best tackler. Maybe I was wrong about that. And I've seen just a few good tackles, and I'm like, oh, he can tackle. Yo, someone ranked Christian Gonzalez at 1. Okay. Coming in at 6 here, J.C. Horn. That was another tough one. Could have had J.C. Horn in there. When he's healthy, he probably is. Or I don't know. But Benford was so good. Jalen Johnson at 8. There's Quinyon Mitchell. So yeah, Quinyon Mitchell. Oh, Jack, would you look at that? Bang! You got another Seahawk in here. Yo. ESPN. Okay, well, I'm for sure losing this one against ESPN. They had Spoon in here. I get it, though. There you go. I have him as my only honorable mention. But honorable mentions for ESPN: Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey, Trayvon Diggs, Byron Beast Murphy, AJ Terrell. I don't know about L'Jarius Sneed. He was kind of bad last year. Also receiving votes: Cooper DeJean, Deron Bland, Charvarius Ward, Demondre Lenoir, DJ Reed, Carlton Davis, Marshawn Lattimore, I don't know about that, Alante Taylor, Joey Porter Jr., Teron Johnson, Reek Woolen, Jair Alexander, and Nate Wiggins. Wait, did Christian Benford not make this at all? Did not a single person put down Christian Benford? That's crazy. That's crazy. Most underrated player in football, I guess. Wow, not even an also receiving votes. Dang, man. Poor Christian Benford. Yo, let's go. Holy crap. Thank you for the super chat, Jack. I appreciate it. Let's go use the money to get better ball knowledge. I could use that money to renew my NFL Pro subscription. That's sick. I appreciate it. You are a pioneer in super chats for this channel, Jack. I hope you know that. And that is not lost on me. I really do appreciate that. That's awesome. Spoon in the top 10. Yo, ESPN, thank you for putting Spoon in the top 10. Oh, baby. All right. There you have it. That was ESPN's positional top 10s. Those are my top 10s. Like I was saying, I will share this Google Doc. I will drop it in the Discord. If you're new here, you should join the Discord. I've got the link for that in my channel. And if you're new, I appreciate you tuning in, man. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Look at that. We came in at about 2 hours, right? We were thinking maybe 3 hours. We were able to fit it in 2. That's what I was shooting for. It's 10:04. It's starting to get a little late here. But that was a joy. That was a joy, man. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. We will be back next week. Same time, same place. Keep your eyes peeled for some sort of community post or something. We've got a few more streams coming up. And then the season, man. Then the season is going to be coming up in a few weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for the season prediction stream and all that good stuff. But that was a lot of fun. My neck hurts from talking so much. I have been Captain Yap. But I appreciate you guys too, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a great crowd. I will see you all again next week. Y'all have a good night. The doctor is out.